So what do you do if you're the executor? So figure out who the players are is number one. Number two, what are the assets? So who are the players, and then what stuff's out there? It could be IRAs. That's not a pill bottle. That's an IRA. Life insurance, bank accounts, and real estate. All right, after you figure out what assets are out there, and then you want to figure out what controls the assets. So on IRAs and life insurance, they usually have beneficiaries named. So someone that serves, or the beneficiary controls where it goes to. They could be titled in the name of the deceased person, which is shown there, so the name of the decedent, or they could be in a trust. So this bank account, sometimes bank accounts name beneficiaries, or they'll call that a POD, payable on death, or the bank account could be owned by the trust. So step two, figure out what are the assets, what's out there, and that could be a challenge in itself sometimes if there's not good records left behind. And then after you figure out what the assets are, number three is what controls the assets. Do they name a beneficiary? Are they owned by a trust? Or are they in the name of the deceased, which is known as the estate? If they're in the name of the deceased, then it's called the estate. You'd say it's in the name of the estate of the dead person. It's in the dead person's estate. And their last will and testament will be controlling if they have one. The last will and testament will name the beneficiaries, where the stuff goes, and it will name the personal representative, is what it's called in Arizona, who's in charge. This is what's commonly known as the executor. If there's not a last will and testament, then the state laws will have intestate succession laws. Intestate means no will. So if there's not a will, the state law defines who has priority to serve as a personal representative and who are the beneficiaries. If the assets are in the name of the dead person, you got to figure out if there's a will or not a will to see who's in charge. And then it could be a class of beneficiaries. By a class, I mean if there's a bunch of children, say there's 3 kids and their father passed away, then all 3 of them would be beneficiaries, and all 3 kids would also have equal priority to serve as a personal representative. Now, if there was a surviving spouse and then also children, then those are 2 different classes of beneficiaries. The surviving spouse and children, depending on the situation, if all the children were common to the relationship, then the surviving spouse will be the intestate beneficiary and the personal representative. If there's children from a prior relationship, then they're a half beneficiary, and the surviving spouse gets the other half, or their share of the community property. It could also be in a trust. If it's in a trust, you got to figure out who's in charge, who's the trustee, and who are the beneficiaries, and then what terms of the trust.